Hello, hello. Mic testing. Hopefully it's working. Let me check. Mic testing. Yep. Okay. Hey, welcome to my channel. And yeah, this is the image that was from my childhood book that I wanted to paint. Now, before I start anything, I would like to say it's kind of like a disclaimer that I'm not from the West, so I do not have this political view on race like they have, or I generally, when I paint something, I paint based on my attachment and sentimental value to it rather than thinking from a political perspective. So I'm painting this because of nostalgia and my connection to the original Little Mermaid, not because there was a huge debate going on right now on the subject of this movie. The new movie that came out, I haven't watched it yet because I don't go to movie halls. After COVID, I just stopped going. So probably I'll watch it if they bring it to Disney Plus, and then I can think of if I like the movie, maybe I can paint the new mermaid. I don't know, but it's not about anything political or anything like that. But I want to say one thing, that yes, original Ariel was something part of my life. Like, I used to be obsessed over mermaids, and I have lots of mermaid books, especially Ariel, based on Ariel and Disney mermaid books. So yeah, I was kind of mermaid obsessed kid, and I still like mermaids. Like, if I don't know anyone will watch it, but I am making a book on mermaid. This is my mermaid. She has dark black blue hair, and her skin is a bit brownish rather than white. She has kind of golden brown eyes as well, and her tail is obviously, as you can see, blue, and her clothings are a bit different from original like Disney type mermaid or other mermaid. It's just my own mermaid, and she loves reading book, painting. She loves daydreaming, going to swim. She okay. When I'll talk about the book later, and probably once my book is all sanctioned, like it's in copyright office right now, so when everything is done, probably I'll talk more about this book. The story is pretty basic because that it was my first mermaid story, but probably I will make much more how should I put it, like much more um, complicated stories or adventurous stories, because yeah, so you can understand how much I like mermaids, and that's the main reason I'm painting it. So yeah, I know a lot of people kind of don't think of this kind of art or these things from a nuanced perspective. Like, people think, like few days back I saw on Twitter an artist was getting bullied because she painted the old Ariel in a scene from new Ariel movie, new Mermaid movie. So I think there's some lackness of nuance. I think both Ariels are fine, but there are a significant number of people grew up with the red haired, the original Ariel. So for us, I think it's a nostalgia thing. It's not, oh my god, the cars. For us, it's just a nostalgia thing. It's nothing else. Like, people just become extremely angry and talk about race and all that. But for those of us who are not in the West, for us, it's like, yes, this Ariel I grew up with, so I'm just painting this Ariel because it was part of our childhood. It's kind of weird that the number is just changing. Anyways, so uh, if if you've seen the original um, this thing, I mean, look at this drawing. I did not draw her physique like that. It's quite extreme. Like, she has a very thin, weird kind of waist and very thick tail, or like hip. It's just, it felt weird while I was drawing, so I thought, like, okay, I'll do it in my way, because it just, I mean, look at that waist. It's just so, someone, how do you say it, someone kind of tied it, like, it's so thin, it's abnormally thin, stapled it together. It looks like someone stapled it together. It's so thin. It's not like a lot of people, oh, so you are anti-thin people. No, I'm not anti-thinness or anything. It's just, it's different. Like, it doesn't look, how should I put it, like, even my Ariel has a thin waist, but it's not a fantasy level thin. That's what I'm saying. And as for the tail, I was thinking of mixing current Ariel, the current movie Ariel, and the old Ariel, but then I realized I cannot do that, because the current Ariel's tail is extremely complicated while drawing. Like, if I want to draw something cartoony, current Ariel's tail is, I mean, it's good if I draw something realistic, but for the cartoon Ariel, that tail is extremely complicated, so I just left it halfway. I tried to add more fins and everything, but I just left it halfway. I just couldn't do it, because it was, first of all, I couldn't even understand the shape, because again, I did not watch the movie. I checked all the posters and everything, and it was difficult. And I was like, even when I was drawing, I did not know about the backlash that certain artists got for drawing the old Ariel in a scene of new Ariel, scene from new movie. They they were called racist and all that. So I did not know that thing back then when I was drawing this. But the only reason I could not continue with the tail details is because I was just so confused how to draw it. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, the face, decided to be different. Like, I tried to make her face like the cartoony one, but exactly not the cartoony one. Like, everyone has their own art style, right? So I thought maybe I should paint her in my own art style, rather than, like, she should have the vibe of the old Ariel, but if it's just copy of the image, then what's the point? Like, if it's just like I'm just copying the entire thing, so yeah, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so I'm going to delete this picture so that you can see my okay, this was a mistake. Flounder was a mistake. Like, I was thinking of mixing real life flounder fish, not the flounder fish, the flounder in the movie, with the animated flounder. Like, I was thinking, okay, so animated flounder is too cartoony. And the real flounder, I mean, if you have seen the poster and all that, you'll see that it's just a fish. So I thought maybe I could mix a bit between the two fishes. Like, I hope nobody will be angry um, that I mixed the fishes. Like, I have taken the old flounder and new flounder together. I mean, I understand people can get emotional when it comes to the mermaid, but it's a fish, so probably nobody will be that angry about it. I don't know. But then I just made a whole another mess. It is kind of messy, to be honest. So, yeah, the flounder is like, you can just ignore that part. In fact, I tried to make him better, flounder, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't. I will think of him as a bit older flounder, like not the kid flounder. I actually thought of changing his eyes. Did I call him her? I don't know. I actually thought of changing his eyes later, but I didn't go with it. I was already like, oh, so much to draw, so much to draw, and yeah. As for the background, I did not exactly copy the background. Like, yeah, I mean, some parts are kind of same, but like there was this big uh, pot near the tail, and yeah, I did not keep it there. I just put it at the back. And as for the, is it a candelabra? I think it is a candelabra. As for that, there was a spoon and the fork, I think, in it. But I just drew one spoon. Now, this is a painting process that I don't generally use because it's difficult. You have to do the outline, then you have to fill the color, then you have to get rid of the outline. It's quite time consuming, and it's not enjoyable. This painting process is not enjoyable. But I did the outline because initially I thought I'll keep the outline to you know keep the cartoony look, the animated version. Since I'm painting the animated version, I could keep the cartoony look, but I can't draw something good with outlines. Like, seriously, outlines don't look good with me. I mean, the end result is not good if I keep the outline. So I generally get rid of the outline, to be honest. So yeah, and I don't know why I chose this scene, because this was the last scene of that book, the childhood mermaid book, and it was really busy. Like, obviously, original scene had a much more pictures and all that. Uh, it was really busy. You know, all this stuff at the background. So I had to color a lot of it. I had to detail a lot of it. So let's let's bring it up. Yeah. So yeah, the cave is bigger. Like, you can see a lot of the cave, but in my painting I just did a very shorter version of the cave, so I did not draw extra all that other objects. But yeah, this is a very busy painting. Oh, I did not draw the ropes up there. Oh, that's okay because the arch wasn't as big in my picture as it is in the book. I remember watching Ariel, the series, animated series first, and I didn't watch the movie till I was like a teenager, like really older. Mm, so I love the series. Like that was one of the, um, best series I've watched because she was so adventurous, brave, kind, and she was friendly and warm. Like when you look at that Ariel, you feel like, okay, I want to be friends with her. I want to be friends with her. So when I was a kid, I used to come back from school and they used to show these shows. Each day there was one show. Like there was Aladdin in one day, then there was Tarzan. The Tarzan was much later, by the way. Aladdin was much earlier. Little Mermaid was also much earlier. There was Hercules series. Uh, there was a Goofy series. There was what is Chippendale, Tailspin. Chippendale came later on. Tailspin, DuckTales, the old DuckTales, those were there. Like they used to repeat the show over and over. Like once all the episodes are done showing, they would again start the show. So yeah. And so I have watched Little Mermaid like couple of times. I've watched Aladdin couple of times. I've watched Hercules and all the other series like that. So that's what I remember. Like I loved all her adventures in the series. That I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And also obviously she was floating underwater. She was swimming underwater, and all that fancy thing, like magical. It looked really magical. So um, I first of all, the scenery underwater, colorful scenery, that was amazing for a child. Like it was a whole new world. Obviously that's from Aladdin, but you get my point. Like it was really a whole new world for me, to see that underwater, all those scenes, and she's just swimming through everywhere. Like when you're walking on the street or on the road, you can't just go anywhere in the space. Like you can't fly up and down. You're not, even birds can't do that. Like not as flexible as how they showed the mermaid was. So it felt so good and it felt so freeing. Like it was really great. And I watched the movie much later, and my jaw dropped when I watched the movie. I was like, that's not her. Like how is it was so heartbreaking for a kid. Like when you see someone is so adventurous and careless and all that, and then you see the movie where she just gave up all her life for a prince. A lot of people argue that no, she gave up her underwater life, her voice, to the sea witch, not for the prince, but for um, to be a human. But no, like if she wanted to be a human, she could have gone to the sea witch, or she would have done something before she met the prince. Like obviously the situation with prince, what was his name, Eric, situation with prince escalated the thing with her father, and that's when Ursula, yeah, the sea witch is kind of entered the scene. But even then I think it wasn't actually just being a human. I mean, she wanted to be a human, but her main objective was like to go to the prince, like to because one of the clauses Ursula had was like, you have to make him fall in love with you or get the kiss and stuff like that. So that was kind of disappointing for me as a child. Like, I watched the series and it was just filled with all the adventures, and I'm like, why do you want to go to the land? It's not fun there. You can't just swim up and down and everywhere if you go to the land. It's just also, what, why? You can float, you can technically fly underwater, and you want to walk on land? I mean, it was kind of just exact opposite perspective. As Sebastian said, the seaweed is greener on the other side. Always we. I'm butchering the song, but yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to say. Mm, yeah, I mean, as humans, a human kid, I was thinking, why does she want to um, come to human world? Like, it's not fun. And probably she was thinking exactly opposite. She was thinking, why anybody wants to be, I mean, if she ever met a human child or human girl who wants to be a mermaid, and she would have think, why do you want to be a mermaid? It's not fun. It's kind of that kind of mentality. But the thing is that no, it's just probably we see the beauty in other side. I don't know, but still, I think being a mermaid is awesome. Like, you can do a lot of things that you cannot do as human beings. And also, what I got the idea from the series, my main inspiration was the series, to be honest, like, not even the animated movie, because the series was the what I just watched, and I kind of got attracted to the whole idea of mermaid. So what I what I watched from the series, the mermaids are much more freeing, and free in the sense, like, their rules and lives were much less restricted than human girls. So, I mean, there were occasional shark attacks, but I don't know if they had same issues with, like, a stranger danger, or you can't go there, you can't go. Obviously, her father was really protective because of her mother's death, but I felt like it was much more freeing for uh, for girls, or in this case, mermaids. So yeah, uh, I know this is kind of like, oh, she's painting a very old guy. Among all the Disney characters, I really liked Ariel's, the series Ariel, and in movies, I liked Esmeralda a lot. I don't know how many people actually watched Hunchback of Notre Dame, but my god, Esmeralda was gorgeous. Especially her hair and her eyes and eyebrows. I mean, one of the most gorgeous female character Disney ever created. I think Esmeralda was one of them. Or maybe she's the one. Like, for me, she was amazing. When I first saw Esmeralda, I watched Hunchback of Notre Dame. I went to the hall and watched it. And I was so mesmerized, I couldn't even, fathom. Like, I was like, how can someone be so beautiful? So, probably I will paint Esmeralda next. I don't know, because now I want to paint her. But yeah, I mean, it was such a great character, especially her hair. Oh my god, she was beautiful. And Disney actually changed the original story of Hunchback Notre Dame. So, or in original story, she wasn't Romani. She was, I think, she was originally French, but in Victor Hugo's stories, like, the Roma people kidnapped her and raised her as their own and stuff like that. This was kind of of that time of Europe, when they kind of had a lot of taboo around Roma people. I mean, they still have, but it was a different time. So, mm, but in a Disney version, she is part of Romani culture. She is a Roma. So, uh, and her dark complexion compared with that beautiful hair, and uh, weird though she had green eyes, but still, like, the entire thing was really beautiful. Like, she was really, really beautiful. So yeah, that's, I think that's another female Disney character I might want to draw. And yeah, and I don't think a lot of people actually like seeing Disney paintings, probably because I get more views on painting sceneries and other stuff than Disney painting. But yeah, I mean, these are childhood nostalgia, and yeah, probably I will paint some more characters that I like. However, I'm really, really bad at painting human beings. Like, human anatomy is horrible for me. Like, I can't do it properly. I just, even if I'm painting something cartoony, or I shouldn't say cartoony because animated characters, animated, true, but they're not exactly cartoony. But yeah, so even then, I can't draw. I cannot draw human human beings. So even now I was thinking like I'll keep the outline border, but later on I just changed my mind, and that was really a bad idea. That was really hectic. So yeah, and a lot of people like, oh my god, why is she not drawing the current mermaid? Because I haven't watched the movie and I don't know if I'll feel any attachment or sentiment to her. It's just, again, um, I'm from Asia, or as the Western people say, Asia, but I'm from Asia, so um, I kind of, when I'm painting something, I'm thinking more about my sentimental attachment and sentimental value to the character rather than what is politically expected of me or politically correct. It's not even correct, like, it's just politically expected of artists. Like, if you are painting old Ariel, either you have to include new Ariel, or um, you have to paint new Ariel, because there was this artist, as I was mentioning, she got really harassed because she painted old Ariel in a new Ariel scene. So I didn't do that. I am painting old Ariel in old Ariel scene, but I understand a lot of people like, I don't care. I don't care that she's painting old Ariel. I understand that sentiment of fear. I don't care means not me. I'm talking about the viewer. If you don't like old Ariel because suddenly the new Ariel has a different appearance, that's up to you. But there are still people who grew up with old Ariel and they have a nostalgic value. To be fair, Disney live action remakes are sold on nostalgic value, right? So if I don't have any nostalgic value with the thing they are selling, so why should I not go back to the old one and have nostalgia from that one? Again, it's fine if anyone prefer new Ariel over old Ariel, or prefer old Ariel over new Ariel. I have no problem with any of these. But yeah, I was actually hoping, if Disney wanted to have a Black Mermaid, I was hoping that they could make an original Black Mermaid, because there's loads of African lores on mermaids. Like, literally they have, maybe then those mermaid stories are a bit different than Western ones, but that's the beauty of diversity, you know. like for example, I was actually looking into African folklore, like how much, what kind of mummies they have. Like they have Mummy Wata. She how should I put it, like mermaid, you can portray her as a mermaid, um but she's a water spirit. uh Here it says Mummy Wata, water mother, literally means water mother, is a water spirit venerated in West Central and Southern Africa and in the African diaspora in the Americas. Mummy water spirits are usually female, but sometimes male. So you can make a whole new story with Mummy water. Okay, so appearance of her hair ranges from straight curly to woolly black and combed straight back. Most scholarly sources suggested the name Mamiwata is a Pekin English derivation of Mother Water. I have no idea what did I just read. Reflecting the goddess's title, Mother of Water or Grandmother of Water, in the Agni language of Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, I butchered the French word. Although this etymology has been disputed by Africanist writers, okay, there's lots of information here, but yes, she seems really interesting character, and if she's a goddess, I mean, uh, instead of like you, I mean, they could make a story of Mami Wanta, or they could make a story related to Mami Wanta. uh, Mami Wanta is often described as a mermaid-like figure with a woman's upper body and the hindquarters of a fish or serpent. So there you go, like you can literally make stories about Mami Wanta. So that's one legend. Then there's Yomunja. Okay, I don't know the pronunciation, so if anybody knows about the pronunciation, please let me know. So Yomunja, also spelled Yemoja or Yamaja. Yoruban deity celebrated as the giver of life, as the metaphysical mother of all Orisha deities within the Yoruba spiritual pantheon. So there's the entire pantheon there, and Yemoja was is Yomoja's name is derived from the Yoruba words yeye or ya, which means mother, omo means child or children, and ija means fish, and thus literally means mother whose children are the fish. You can't make these things up. Like, there's literally treasure troves of mermaid stories in African culture. You could pick any one of them, and this was this would have been amazing. These stories would have been amazing if Disney could make an original African mermaid story based on these folklores. Like, why did they? I mean, a lot. Now I'm going to talk about Disney's failure in this, because there's this another folklore in Africa, which is Nomo. The Nomo or Numo are primordial ancestral spirits in Dogon religion. Oh my god. Dogon religion and cosmology, sometimes referred to as demi-deities, venerated by the Dogon people of Mali. The word nomos is derived from a Dogon word meaning to make one drink. Nomos are usually described as amphibious, hermaphroditic, fish-like creatures. Folk art depictions of Nomos show creature with humanoid upper torso, legs, feet, and a fish-like lower torso and tail. Are you kidding me? There's so many great, and I think Nomos is the one that came from the space. I think. Mm, Nomo mythology. Dogon religion, creation mythology says that Nomo was the first living creature created by the sky god Amma. Shortly after his creation, Nomo underwent a transformation and multiplied into 4 pairs of twins. Okay, these stories are really. Okay, if I may so be bold, the Little Mermaid story comes nowhere near to these stories. Like, these stories are amazing. Like, if you read all these African lores, and you can, maybe you can modernize them, you can have more interesting story incorporated in them, but these are amazing stories. um, because Nomo underwent transformation and multiplied into four pairs of twins. One of the twins rebelled against the universal order created by Amma. To restore order to his creation, Amma sacrificed another of the Nomo progeny, whose body was. Oh my god. Okay, this is going a bit on the dark territory, but yeah. Uh, there's a loss of, there's a controversy. Oh my god. Walter van Beek, studying Dogon, found no evidence that they had any historical series. Oh, this is just a different level of controversy. But yeah, I'm sure there are more beautiful, beautiful stories like these, like interesting stories like these that comes out of African continent, and uh, I would say that this sounds much more interesting than just a mermaid just frolicking around underwater and then fell in love with the prince and went to land and all that. I mean, it's fine, but if you actually read these lores from Africa, they're amazing. And this is where my criticism of Disney comes. Like, if you truly respect a certain group of people, and if you truly want to give them limelight, give them something as present, you learn about their culture and make something, a movie, here a movie, based on that culture. You don't just pick an already established white character and then just race swap it and call it a day. It's like, people say it's a lazy thing to do. I would say it's not even lazy, it's disrespectful. It's extremely disrespectful towards the people that you're saying, oh no, look, diversity. You're not doing anything diverse because you're not including any stories from these cultures. You're not showing any stories that these people belong to. It's like their own culture. I mean, there are lots of tribes and lots of nationalities in Africa, and you could pick any story from there. But no, you stuck with the old story. You just did. Obviously, it was laziest thing imaginable. You just changed the race and all that, and then you expected people to like it. Obviously, certain people like it, and now the people who liked it, they think that they a lot of people, like as I said, the artist was harassed because she painted old Ariel, cartoon Ariel, in a scene that was in new movie. Disney literally disrespected an entire group of people just by kind of changing the race. Like, why? Why couldn't you make an original story? And since I actually showed how many great mermaids are there in African culture, like, it's not like they can't even have that excuse that no, there's no mermaid stories from the entire continent of Africa. No, you can't say that. The folklores are amazing, and you could pick any folklore and you could make amazing story out of it, but you didn't do that. And this is my Disney's criticism. A lot of people like, oh, so why are you criticizing Disney for that? Oh, this blah blah blah. Yes, it is horrible to do. Like, if I'm Asian, if tomorrow Disney made like Little Mermaid, or any, just name any established white character, if they turn that character into Asian, I will be offended, because there's lots of interesting characters in different parts of Asia. There's lots of different interesting stories and folklores in our cultures. You didn't bother to read, as a multinational company with lots of writers, lots of creatives, you didn't bother to know any of our culture, and you just change race of one of your established character into one of ours, and then you called it a day. That's horrible. I mean, that's the, that's, it's like, it's kind of for me, I think maybe I have a different perspective on this, because I am writing my own stories, and I have my own culture that I kind of reflect in my stories. But I think when a western company, such as big company as Disney, does this kind of thing to people who did not historically get any limelight, I find that extremely insulting. I don't know how people were actually okay with it. Like, they were like, yeah, okay, they race swapped it. Why do you have to do that when there's amazing, amazing stories out there? You could just pick it. Do you not believe that these stories will sell? Why do you not believe that as a company? What's your reasoning that these folklores from African folklores or Asian folklores or these stories won't sell? Why do you have to, already why do you have to change already established character? Because these characters were sold well, so you just don't want to take risk. That's your motto. But it's not just that. I mean, Spider-Man actually proved that audiences love people of color as a main character. It's not like they hate it. It's not racism. Miles Morales, amazing. And I don't know how many people have seen Pavitra Pavakar, the Indian Spider-Man. I mean, he had a very small promo that Sony posted on YouTube. It becomes super hit, the brown Spider-Man, because he was super funny, he was extremely spontaneous, and of course he talked about chai tea, which was like bane of all Asians when people call tea chai tea. Sorry, but it's funny. It was amazing. It was really dynamic. So you see, it's not about race. Like when people say that, oh, they didn't like it because the character is black. No, it's because the story is boring. It's because the character, which was originally white, you just completely just change the color of that character, and that's it. You just didn't add anything. You just didn't make that character unique. Like Miles Morales is unique Spider-Man. Like Peter Parker and Miles Morales are completely different people, and they are, hello wish L2P. I was extremely passionate about something, and I was talking about thank you, thanks a lot. And as I was saying that you can create original character uh, based on folklores of non-white cultures, based on people of color, like be it black, brown, whatever, East Asian. You can do that, and the world is filled with treasure trove of folklores and stories. But Disney decided to insult an entire community, and I'm just feeling weird that nobody sees that. Nobody actually is just, I don't know how to, I feel offended that they did that. But yeah, I mean, why people didn't demand, like, I think people should demand new stories from these companies, and we should actually actively protest Disney remakes. We should have been like, it should have been done. You want, okay, so you want diversity, fine. Find stories from South America, find stories from Africa, find stories from Asia. Asia is like huge continent, and just like other continents, it has like different stories from different parts. So you will find all these stories from these continents. You'll find European, you can also do European stories. Like there are, when I was a kid, we had Ukrainian folklores and Russian folklores. Like we actually read those books. And it was like some stories were really scary, but yeah, I mean, you could uh, sugarcoat those stories, but you can do that. Like, you are a multi-billion dollar company, and you want me to believe that all you can do is take old characters and change their races, and maybe change a bit of the story, and then feed it to the people and saying, oh look, it's sensitive for modern audience. Why would you do that? That is so disrespectful and so dumb. And people who still defend these things, what are you thinking? Seriously, what are you thinking? Why are you protecting this multi-billion dollar, this huge multinational company that could easily make all these amazing stories but deliberately chose not to? Why are you protecting this company? And people talk about racism about Ariel's situation, Little Mermaid situation. There are, of course, there are people like that who are horrible, people. They just can't stand. And I don't know what they did in case of Spider-Man, Black Spider-Man, like Miles Morales. I don't know what was their reaction, but there are horrible people like that. But you don't focus that, you don't put that up. There are genuine criticism of the movie. There are genuine concern about this trend, and the genuine concern is death of creativity. That's it. That's the genuine concern. The genuine concern is when these MNCs talk about diversity, they just change the character's race. They do not actually care about real diversity. They do not care about world's stories. If they actually cared about diversity, if they actually cared about the stories, they would have researched on different tribes, different continents, different ethnicities or different nationality stories, and they would make those stories into reality. They don't do that. Mami Wata is so famous across African continents. Like, even she is known in American black what do you call what African American diaspora. Sorry. So it wasn't that difficult to create an entire amazing story based on Mami Wata or all the other mermaids that I mentioned, African mermaids. Why didn't they make them? Nobody asked that question. And you know why nobody asked that question? Because the moment someone tried to criticize Disney's new venture, people will be like, oh, you're a racist because you don't like Black Mermaid. No, because you're talking about diversity, we want to see diversity of ideas, diversity of stories, of folklores. You want Black Mermaid, like, if African American group, the diaspora, the community, if they want Black Mermaid, they should demand a Black Mermaid with a story that fits her. Not a story written by a white guy, not a story that comes from 17th century or 18th century or whatever, not a story that already has been made into an animation with a older white mermaid. You want a colored mom, some POC. Like, I heard that someone said that Snow White is going to be some Latina, like South American actress. Why? Is there any you know dearth of stories in South America? Is there any lack of folklores and stories in South America that you have to bring Snow White, uh, whose name is Snow White because she was as white as snow, and you're casting? I mean, I'm so angry about this thing, and people just don't understand it, that how these companies make fool of us and insult us, and people are like, no, they're not insulting, oh, they're making us this is the first Black Mermaid. And it is proven that even if the main character is not white, like a person of color, the movie can be successful. Look at Black Panther. Look at Spider-Man, the across the universe and all that. Like sorry, multiverse, right? Miles Morales, that one. Um, yes, it works. Then what is the excuse for these companies not to do that? The only reason they did that, Disney did that, so that they can divide the community, the people, so people can fight among themselves, and it will give kind of publicity. I don't know what was their intention, but I don't think it was a genuine effort what they did with the Mermaid movie. I don't think it was um, inclusive, because there was, if you're talking about inclusivity, you have to talk about inclusive stories, you have to talk about ideas, inclusive ideas. If you want to make a story of a certain culture, you have to have that story of that culture. You just don't, this is so, I mean, people talk about how lazy it is. I think how insulting it is, and I really don't want them to Asian wash any of their characters. Like, seriously, do not take your white or any other characters and turn them into Asians, because that would be super insulting. I mean, I don't know, Disney wouldn't watch my stream, but if I could talk to them, I would have said that, like, please don't do that, this is super insulting. Keep the original character as it is and make new stories with new characters, so that people can watch them, these new stories, and people can have their, these new legends can be born. Am I making sense? Like, do people think that it's okay? Because nowadays everything sounds like, if you say something out of the pattern word, out of the thing, then you're racist. So I don't want to be called that. So yeah, I mean, I I'm sorry guys, I got a bit um, hyped about it. I got a bit angry about it, but yes, I think these companies are evil for doing these kind of things. And sorry, I just can't accept this thing. You can't insult an entire group of people and get away with it. And what worse is, a lot of people don't even understand what they have done, what they are doing. They are actually, I mean, just not lazy, it's just so I'm tired of saying this, but yeah, this was absolutely horrific thing. And yeah, there are actual horrible people out there who will attack whatever they think not their way. Like, if you change race, they will attack just because of their race. They will attack the actress, they will attack like, a lot of fans attacked a lot of um, voice actors, if they didn't like the game or didn't like the movie or something. It happens. I play some games where the game community, the fans attack the voice artist because what something the company did, or sometimes they didn't like a character and they attack that actor. Don't do that, people. Don't attack the actor. You have to criticize the company. And if you attack an actor because you didn't like that actor's acting or the character, then you're a horrible, horrible person. And you're dumb. Seriously, don't do that. What you should do is talk about the company whose decision, like, their decision was ultimate. They did everything. So that's my point. Like, I mean, of course, people who want to be horrible online, they will be horrible. I can't do anything about it. I can't say anything about it. Like, I can tell them don't be horrible to people, but they will be. Like, yeah. But we have to talk about the actual concern. We have to talk about the actual issue here. which is how the company is treating these people, and how the company is treating not this particular company, but this general Hollywood thing, that how they're still being so horrible to people who were historically, who didn't get the limelight, or who didn't get their story told. They're still not telling their story. If you think that swapping race is all it needs, no, it's not their story. It's not there. It's there's no attachment with that story. So maybe I sound extra passionate about it, but I fear that in future Disney will do that to my people as well. Like they will pick some, used, like their used up characters something, and they will slap a different race, and they will say, look how diverse it is. So I fear that, and I do not appreciate that. I don't know how many people do in general, how many people actually like this kind of thing, but that's because most people don't think it through. That I think I'm taking way too much time because I'm getting passionate about it. I was really scared of talking about these things, but then I realized I don't have much viewer on my stream, so I was like, okay, I can talk about it. uh, yeah, I mean, if if you're from these communities, I mean, how do you not see it? How do you not see what Disney is doing? I mean, Princess and the Frog was amazing. And as for people saying that they now can see themselves in the character, I'm Asian. Again, I could see myself in white characters as well as black characters. Like when I watched Princess and the Frog, I could see myself in I think Tiana? I forgot the name. And I could see, I mean, of course, if I can see myself in a half human, half fish creature, then of course I can see myself in a whole human being. Especially the main thing is about, like, for women and girls, they want to see women and girls because the social, physical, and a lot of other structures are different from men, and maybe that's fine. And also sometimes race gets involved, but if you want to involve that race thing, that okay, I want to see myself in that character, then you also have to involve the culture associated with that particular group. Or culture is much more diverse, but you can associate the stories that similar people have faced, but you can't just take a story that is bland, or rather kind of vanilla, and just slap some sort of race swap thing, and you dish it out, and you're like, yeah, this is you, you can see yourself in this character now. What about the culture they grew up? What about the root, their ethnic root, their cultural root? What about those? Disney has done a horrible thing with Little Mermaid. I'm my criticism on that point of view, like what they did, what Disney did, is no, is I'm sorry. It's just I feel so emotional about it, but maybe because what can I say? And after finding out so many great mermaid stories in African lore, my first instinct was, why Disney? Why didn't you do that? Okay. Anyways, I think the time is like I'm just keep talking about it. I hope you like my art. I'm going to post this painting on my Instagram and probably in Twitter, and I just hope to God nobody start attacking me for painting the old Ariel. I just hope. And yeah, if you guys like my work, and if you guys like to see more of my blabbering during my live stream, just subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to give a like to this video so that more people can see it and hear my angry rant about an evil corporation. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you all actually think about all these things. Like, maybe not the mermaid thing, but at least be passionate about culture and mythology and folklores enough to understand that these stories deserve much more, limelight. These stories from other cultures deserve much more limelight rather than just swapping a race. I hope people have enough nuance in them, like people can understand what I'm trying to say. People, don't get angry, people, about it, okay? Just think. And with that message, see you. I will try to make another stream very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.